Tonight, we're jumping into a match that was so much more than just a match. It was basically a declaration of war. We are talking about that colossal six-man tag team showdown from Fastlane 2016. This was a straight-up collision between the old-school titans of the industry and this terrifying new force that was threatening to burn the whole place down.
And you gotta start with the man himself, right? Bray Wyatt. This wasn't just him cutting a promo. This was him laying out his prophecy. He looked at the giants of WWE, and he didn't see legends. He saw dinosaurs that needed to be made extinct. For Bray, this was never just about one match. It was about kicking off a whole new, dark era. And here are the two sides, laid out plain and simple. On one side, you've got the Titans. We're talking a supergroup of absolute legends, a walking, talking Mount Rushmore of pure destruction. And on the other side, the Wyatt family. And they weren't just a team, they were more like a backwoods cult, all united by this really creepy, sinister vision. So yeah, this was way more than a wrestling match. It was a battle for the soul of the company.
So how did this whole war kick off? Well, let me tell you, from the second that bell rang, it was obvious the Wyatts weren't there for a technical wrestling classic. They were there to make a statement, and that statement was going to be written in pure, agonizing pain.
Their whole game plan was simple, but man, was it effective. Divide and conquer. They moved like a single organism, like a pack of wolves, just cutting off the ring, isolating their prey one by one. See, the Titans were a team of crazy powerful individuals, but the Wyatts, they were a unit, and that's exactly what gave them the edge right from the start.
And then you had their ace in the hole, Braun Strowman, the black sheep of the family. This guy, he was something else. A total force of nature, a monster that had just been plowing through the entire roster. He was the equalizer, the one guy who could totally flip the script of any fight all by himself.
But here's the thing, it wasn't just the Strowman show. You had Luke Harper, and he was a whole different kind of nightmare. You're looking at a huge dude who moves like he's half his size, a brawler who's got the insane agility of a gymnast. His style was so unpredictable, and that's what made him one of the most dangerous guys in the entire company. And this is where you really see that pack mentality in action. They managed to trap Kane in their corner, completely cut him off from his partners, and then they just pick him apart, like vultures. And the whole time, you've got Bray Wyatt just sitting in his rocking chair, conducting this whole symphony of destruction like some kind of twisted maestro.
For what felt like forever, Kane was just trapped in this living nightmare. The Wyatts were swarming him, and honestly, it looked like there was no way out. But then, a glimmer of hope. In a flash of pure veteran instinct, Kane uses Strowman's own momentum against him, sending him tumbling over the top rope and creating that one single opening the Titans were desperate for.
And that one little opening, that's all it took. Kane scrambles, makes the hot tag to Ryback, and the big guy just explodes into the ring like a house on fire, completely changing the direction of the match in a heartbeat.
This was Ryback in his element. He was a human wrecking ball, just steamrolling through the entire Wyatt family. The crowd was absolutely electric, and you could just feel the momentum of the entire match shifting with every single hit. The power on display was just unreal. And all of a sudden, those new gods, they started to look very, very human. The Wyatts were backing up, they were in full retreat, and the Titans were suddenly on the verge of a huge comeback. For the first time all night, you started to think, hey, maybe the old guard is going to survive this thing after all.
And that, of course, brings us to the absolutely chaotic climax where all hell just completely broke loose. Any semblance of a game plan went right out the window, and it just became six monsters trading massive shots in the middle of the ring. This is the point where the match stopped being a strategic battle and just became an all-out war. I mean, just look at this man. It was just a non-stop highlight reel. You had monsters flying from the top rope, giants trading choke slams, and then the moment that absolutely blew the roof off the place. The Big Show, all 400+ pounds of him, diving over the top rope like he's a cruiserweight. It was pure, beautiful madness.
And right there, in the eye of that hurricane, Ryback saw his moment. Bray Wyatt gets taken out of the picture at ringside, and he hoists Luke Harper up. Bam! Shell-shocked. He drives him into the mat for the 1, 2, 3. The Titans did it. They actually did it.
And right there, that was the story. The revolution was put on hold, at least for one night. The old guard, they survived. They proved they weren't quite ready to pass that torch.
This was a statement win, a message to every single person in that locker room that the Titans were still the kings of the mountain.
So the Titans won the battle, sure, but you just knew the war was far from over. And it left you with this huge, lingering question. Could the old guard really hold back the tide of change forever? Or was the rise of the Wyatt family and the new era they stood for simply inevitable?